welcome to Christy's Stampin' Spot. I'm Christy. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. I'm just making sure I'm all in the right place. I had a little bit of trouble with my microphone. It's always something, right? It's always something. So I'm a little late, but I'm on, which I'm very excited. Okay, so I have a very fabulous card. I was really excited about making this card for you guys today. So we are going to be using the fabulous online exclusive designer series paper, the One Horse Open Sleigh, and the Winter Owls, which is like my new favorite stamp set. I think I love that stamp set. So let me go ahead and turn you guys down. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, oh my gosh, guys. I love this card. Let me fix my face. Somehow, crop is wrong on here. Give me 1 second. Move this up just a tiny bit so you guys can see my face while I'm doing this. And I did not see that this was a problem. There we go. That's better from before. So you can see I've got my host code is up here on the corner. If you guys need any of these fabulous products. But oh my gosh, you guys see this? Isn't that beautiful? The owl is just gorgeous. And if you have some, if there are some Harry Potter fans in the house of a special wizard, I have given this little owl a letter, right? And it's got, I made it look like it has a little wax seal. Can you guys see that? I'm going to show you guys how to make that. So we're going to actually do that part first after I show you which card pieces we're going to use, because we need to let that dry, because we are going to use some of the enamel special effect, the enamel, what is it called? Pearlized. We're going to use some of the pearlized enamel special effects. We're going to use the red one to make that like little bitty wax looking seal on our little letter for our little owl. Isn't that pretty though? I just love, I mean, you take the letter off, it's gorgeous. But I love this greeting, which is grateful for the everyday magic of you. I actually left it blank on the inside. We're actually going to do a little bit different variation of the sentiment. But, and then a piece in the back. I love this stamp set. It's so pretty. And the coloring, I'm going to show you guys. We're just going to use I'm going to stamp it in the early espresso and use the blender pen, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so like I said, this fabulous designer series paper is a 6x6 pack. We've had it for a little while. There's some gorgeous pieces in here. It is an online exclusive, so you can actually, because it's a part of a suite. So when on the online store and you pull down product suites, you can find it there in the One Horse Open Sleigh suite. But also, under the online exclusives, you can find it. I love this designer series paper. It's gorgeous. Love it. We're going to use some rustic metallic dots. Okay, so we're going to use, so for this sentiment, I actually use that is actually from this Something Fancy, which is some fabulous tags, that a tag bundle that's grateful for you for everyday magic. Although we're not going to use that one today, but I wanted to show you guys, make sure you saw that. I'm actually going to stamp and cut this up to celebrate the magic of the season. And I'm going to be celebrating the magic of, celebrating the magic birthday is what I'm going to put. I think I'm going to try that and see if that works. And then I usually have this, I use this set almost every time I make a card, because it has the Stampin' Up! Logo that I've been using on the back of all my cards. But we're actually going to use this little letter right here. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to stamp that little piece and cut that out. And that's actually the letter that we're going to use to add to our owl. And then the owls are from, of course, the Winter Owls stamp set and bundle. And oh my gosh, I've been doing several things with this set. So beautiful. I love it so much. These are the dies. Oh, I just had to turn it over for you guys to see. It's gorgeous. So I am going to try to cut this out, and I'm going to use my mini and see if I can get it to work. I found that after I broke both my hands, just getting it just right, and you have to kind of stand up to get it sometimes to use the mini. because I'm so used to just powering through with my big machine that I can usually use my mini for a little while, and then it's actually it's harder for me to use than my big one. And I think it's just because I don't use it as much. But I love this mini catalog. I know we've only just started it. We've had some things go out. We did have the one of the hybrid folders that was out is back in stock. I know we have some of our designer series paper. I think like most of this this suite is out, but the new hybrid folder from the Oh Holy Night suite is back in, which is awesome. But you can find the owls. So like I said, I love to use this back. These are catalog at a glance in the back, because then you can find where they are pretty quickly in here. So we'll just like where do you see owls? Right here. And it says page 26, so I can go to 26. There we go. And there's that page 26 in the mini catalog is that. And I love all of these beautiful, they have such beautiful samples. I love that. Oh, it's so gorgeous, gorgeous. So that's where you can find the bundle. And of course you can also get the stamp set and the die separate, but I just love both of them so much. Okay, so let's get my card pieces, put it underneath, stuff out my card pieces. Hopefully I won't lose anything. I'll put these back in here so I don't, try not to lose it. Okay, isn't that pretty? But this is so gorgeous. Okay, so I cut down the 6x6 and I cut it at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 is what I've got, which is, if that sounds familiar, it's because that's what I use for my inside panel. But I wanted to do that so that I could have it to have a little bit wider of the early espresso border than I usually have. Usually I would do this. This is the early espresso is at 5 3/8 and 5 4 1/8, and I usually have this at 4 5 1/4. So this time it's 3 7/8 and 5 1/8. And then I'm gonna use crumb cake, and it is I just cut at 4 1/4, the 8.5 by 11, so it's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2 is my card base, and then of course that 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 early espresso panel, and then this panel. So that, like, I mean, look how gorgeous that is just on its own, right? I haven't even done anything really really yet, and it's beautiful. And then I'm going to need an inside layer. And so when I cut this, I had a piece that I cut out, and you know what? I think I put the wrong piece away. Oops. Maybe not. No, this one's the right piece. It's going to go right in here. So it's a little bit bigger than this one. I have it. It's on the side. Actually, I think it goes on this side. But I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to put it right here down this side of my card. I mean, you can always put it, I guess, on that side too if you want. But I'm going to use that instead of going across. And then that bottom piece when I trim this off, which is just the shadow of the trees, that's going to go on the back of my card. So when I cut down that designer series paper, that's how I did that. So I do need an inside panel. Here we go. This is my inside panel. This is my extra piece I need to do. And then these are for my different sentiments. I thought we'd play around with some of the sentiments and see what we'd like to put in there. And then this is to stamp my owl. Okay, so now that I've got this, we can go ahead and actually put this together. And again, I will have all of this stuff up on my website in the blog. And I'll have like a little PDF you guys can download and view of this card. See, I use TAMS, which is these are my stamps. I love their company. They were run by Stampin' Up! Demonstrators or former Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. And if you go on there, I usually have both where you can download the PDF that's got pictures on it, all the pictures, or so you can just have the measurements so you don't run out your ink. but you can also do all kinds of variations. The link at the top of, even though I have the paid version, I don't take the TAMS link off of it. You can click that link and go to the TAMS site, and then you can actually decide what you want. If you you can make your own PDF with the instructions and stuff there too. It has the elements that you want from the card recipe. So isn't that gorgeous? It's so beautiful. I love this designer series paper, and I love that it has like this little hint of the color. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is get out your craft mat. You're going to need your craft mat. And then I'm just going to have a scrap piece of paper. Now this is actually, I'm going to use a scrap piece of my thick Whisper White. Regular Whisper White will work, but because I want to make this little envelope, I just had the thick out as a scrap, and I'm going to do that first before we color and cut out our owl. So I'm going to stamp my post thing. So I need to get out my block, which I left into my little block container. Here we go. Pull out that. Now I have a little bit of a give surface on my workstation, even though sometimes I still need to have a little bit of cushion. So whenever you're using our fabulous photopolymer, it is always best if you can use one of our little Stampin' mats. I'll put it in there just so you can see. Let me go ahead and zoom in just a tiny bit so you guys can see. So I'm just going to stamp this, and it doesn't matter because I stamp it off my craft mat because I don't want to get ink. I did this when I did the other card. I actually stamped it on my craft mat, and the craft mat cleans up nice, but you have to go and do that in between. Otherwise, you'll drag your project in through the ink on the craft mat. So I just use my Stampin' Chamois to clean that up. I go ahead and close this because we're not going to need that for a minute, the early espresso. And then I'm going to fussy cut this out right now. So you can see it's just, this one's really easy to fussy cut out. Like I said, I use the thick Whisper White, so it's not too bad. But you definitely want to make sure before you put on the pearlized, we're going to use some of the pearlized red. When you order it, you can get, we have 2 different kinds of these. So I don't know if you guys, I've never actually played with them, but from what my understanding is this is very much like those pops of color, which I'm not sure who makes those, but this is like a pearlized, and that's what we're going to use out here, the red. Like the pops of color, you have to let it dry. I'm going to squish it, so I'll show you guys. So I'm just cutting this out, and I'm just cutting it on the straight lines. All right, just so it looks. There we go. Put this in my lace basket. Okay, then I'm going to take, so here's my little letter. Super easy. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pearlized, this is the real red. And I'm, like I said, it comes in a 3-pack. We also have the metallic red, gold, and no, I'm sorry. This one is the white, black, and red. Black is kind of a grayish color. The other is silver, gold, and copper. So is the other 3-pack that you can get in the online store. I'm just going to put that little dot. Now, I've heard too that if you want the little dot to, see, I just put a little dot in there. If you want the little dot to be flat, that you're supposed to like flick it, like underneath, and that does work. It's much harder with the little, oops, right here. Flick it, and you can see it fall. It doesn't matter because we're going to squish it, right? So I just put one little dot on there, right, on that little. And then I'm going to take the corner of my mat. So after it's set for a couple seconds, right, I'm actually going to softly just squish I just squished it down. You guys see that? So it looks like it's got the seal on it, and just gives it a little bit of color. It also makes it flat. And don't forget, you've got now something wet on the edge of your craft mat, so you don't want to set your stuff in it. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I zoom this like totally all the way in. Here we go. I'm going to move it over here. Now you don't. If you feel like that's going to squish it too hard, you can always flip your little. You can flip it over like this and barely tap it if you want it to not be as smooshed as that one. A nice red. It's really nice red. It's fabulous. Okay, so now let me get while we let that set there, and make sure you put your cap back on, and dry. It does take a little bit to dry, so definitely do that first. Let's see, where's my bigger piece? I have a bunch of little pieces. Let's use this one. Okay, so we're going to use our owl. I love this owl. He's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Guys, he's so gorgeous. I really, really love this owl. This set is just, I knew I was going to love it, but the more and more I use it, the more and more I love it. I don't want that. I had to turn my fan off because you guys were seeing it swirl on the stuff. It was terrible. So it's getting a little warm. I'm going to have to drink some water. Okay, I'm going to use the same block. So pull my post office box off. I love this set too. I need to make a card just and show you guys with that set. It's so pretty. And this little heart is so adorable. I love it. Okay, let's do my owl. I love the red rubber. Okay, so now I'm going to need to pull back in my Early Espresso ink pad. And I'm actually not using any blends today. I love blends. I use really color with blends a lot, but not today. Go. Oh, now I remember why I had the other piece. So I was going to run it through my machine. I'm going to have to cut it down with my scissors. Okay, so now that I've cut it, and if you've seen, I did it in Early Espresso, yeah? So the reason why I'm going to use the Early Espresso, I'm going to do this pretty quick, so you don't want it to dry. Right now, it's not that big of a problem because we're so damp, as you can tell from my hair, it's a little fuzzy. I'm letting it grow out so it's even more foofy than usual. But I'm just taking this. Let me see if I can make this again bigger. So you guys can see. So I'm just taking our blender pen, and they come in packs of 2, or them, and I'm not even adding ink. What I'm doing is, because after I stamped it with the Early Espresso, I'm just pulling that color around just lightly. Now, I really like our blender pens, but you can, you can do the same thing with your water painters. You just have to be much more careful that you don't get too much water and you have it, you don't want your paper peeling, because I just use regular, this is just the regular basic white. It's not even thick basic white. It's just the regular. If you're going to use your water painters, I would definitely suggest using the thick basic white, if not your watercolor paper. But as you see, I'm not actually adding any other color. I'm just pulling the color with my blender pen from the actual ink that I stamped my owl in, and it just gives it a very the ghosty amount of color, right? So it's mostly white, but then because I've added this the brown, you can see that it's just really light. It's really pretty. It just is a little bit of the color, and that's what I love about these blends. Now, I used to not, before I had the Stampin' Blends, this was I would have to say I probably used this tool the most, because as you can see, right, it pulls this around. But oh my goodness, guys, these work so good with watercolor pencils. Our watercolor pencils, it colors them so pretty, because I did not like the little lines that you can sometimes get when you use your watercolor pencils. And so just using a tiny bit with your blender pen, it blends it, so it's nice. You don't see those. And that was how I could do a lot of my coloring for my stamping. Is that pretty? Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Okay, So I want to use my mini because I am determined to use it. Okay, here's my white one. I have my white mini. So let me go ahead and zoom back out. Do. And I get my mini out. But look, you can tell, I don't think, oh, you don't, it's not going to go. It will go if I do it this way. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim up my paper so that it will fit through my mini. And a good, you can always tell if you put it near your plates, it'll fit on your plates. And so for this one, you're going to need your bottom plate, you're going to need your white number 1, and you're going to need both of your number 2 plates. So you put your number 1, your 2 plate down, and then this one. And then I'm actually going to use, let's see, where's my dies? Some mint tape too. It's all the way in the bottom. So let me get my die, the Winter Owls dies. I love that Stamp It Up is now given the same names to the dies as they do the stamp set. That makes our lives so much easier. Because I have such a hard time remembering. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and line this up. I'm going to use a little piece of mint tape. This is the tape I get from scrapbook.com. You can use Post-it tape. I kind of like this one because if I just touch it a little bit, it's not too sticky, and it doesn't rip my project. I mean, you should always, when you're using a Post-it tape, to make sure you're gentle when you're pulling it off, so that, and as curious as I feel like I'm doing, I would have usually would cut it out before I colored it, but because I didn't really use any color, it's fine. Okay, so apparently there are many tricks to using your mini. The one thing, like when you're doing your big shot or your big, what is it, cut and emboss machine, you have all your plates stacked evenly. But with this one you don't. And I can't ever remember if you have the bottom plate out more, or if it's and you have these ones staggered like this so that it grabs it and pulls it through. So let's see if I've done it correctly or if I have to change them up to get it to catch. Yeah, I think I have it the wrong way. I think it's this way. Maybe it's the bottom plate slower. No, I need to make a cheat sheet, and it pulled the bottom ones, but it didn't pull the top. So let's see. How does that work? Let's go. You push some pressure, and then you can get it to catch. Literally, it's a struggle for me every time. And I have a friend that uses hers almost always. Look, there you go. I got it. So you just have to, I think what I need to do is I'm going to need to make a cheat sheet and like put a Post-it note and or laminate a piece and set it there. So you can see it was kind of staggered funny. But it works fabulous. And it's so much littler. It's so nice to take. When I went to that scrapbooking retreat, I took it with me, and it's that I can use it right in my place without having to go. Usually we have it in a different place to do our die cutting, so that it's not in our work area. So it was really nice. It was really nice to be able to do that. Okay, and we're going to need our sentiment. But I should have probably done it before I started die cutting out. I'm going to set this down right here. Get out my little strip. I think this is just like a scrap that I have. I keep some of these little scraps that I get because this is a 1/2 inch, because it makes it easier. I'm actually going to use this set now. This just came, and I actually didn't wait for the embossing folder to be available. I ordered the set first. The Celebrating the Magic. Celebrating the Magic, and then on the inside, I'm going to put Happy Birthday. Okay. So I am going to just, oh yeah, it fits. Okay, good. All right, so sometimes if you're having trouble getting your words, it's like the best part of using the grid paper. You just set it down, and then pick it up. Cool. And then if you have problems with your, if you guys ever have any problems with your photopolymer, your Stampin' Up! Polymers, or actually probably any of your photopolymers, with the not adhering or being able to do evenly, what you need to do is just stamp it in Versamark. I don't know why that works, but it almost is like, so I guess there's some kind of an injection fluid when they make these photopolymer stamps that can get on your stamps that don't completely come clean. And using that Versamark coats it, and when you clean it, it works much nicer. It really does grab the ink better. So if you're having trouble with getting a better, getting a really good, stamped image, using your Versamark, it really does help, especially with the paper pumpkin. I noticed that one's probably more than like my regular ones, but and then that can also help too with these, but it's usually just the photopolymer. And then I've got, this is one of the mats, I just got it cut in half. So I've got my little here. There, I've got it cut. So now I've stamped it just like that on that little sheet. And then I'm going to, let's see. I can make it go the other way, maybe. This is much longer than, that's what I wanted to do and I forgot. It's all right. I'll change it. I wanted to stamp it over a little bit further because I wanted to use the tip. I totally forgot to do that because I'm going to cut this right here. At the of, so right in front of the F. Look at that. Then I can trim this one down. Let's see. So that's nice. Let me see if I can do it again. Let's flip this around. And I don't know, how long is it? What did I do with that? Sentiment. Just set this down on top of it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it won't fit on this. I have another, it's a little bit bigger. That's right. I will just trim it down with my my paper trimmer in a second. Okay, so I want to do it so it's a little bit longer. So I know that that's how long it needs to be. So I want to make sure I have the edge there this time, so that I can stamp it or cut it the way I want. All right, so let's do that again. Definitely want to have an edge on the side. I'm going to do it. Let's see if I can zoom it in and then you guys can see me do it better. So I'm going to just stamp it. And then I'm going to cut it like this. Right at the of, like right in front of the O in of. Right? And then I'm going to use my trimmer because I really want it to be straight and not wobbly. Otherwise, I just use my hand. But because this is like a really longer than I like, you can use your. I'm just not that great at getting it straight with my paper scissors or my paper snips. It's totally user. I know I can't do it. So just doing it straight is fine. But I wanted to show you guys this other technique. So I'm going to cut this smaller. So I'm just going to line it up how I think I want it. I can see that I can't see my word, so I know it's close. Look at that. Awesome sauce. So now I think that's like a quarter. It's like a quarter. Yeah, it's about a quarter wide, which is really tiny. But it's easier to snip it after you've cut it because trying to stamp on this little itty bitty edge is just too much for me. I know I wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so, but I want to make it a pretty edge. So I'm going to use my stitch shapes. And I want this, I'm going to put this side on this at the same edge as this. You guys see how I did this on this one? So this one just is bigger. I'm going to put this edge right here on this edge, and then I'm going to make this side have an edge with the stitched edge part, right? So what you need is you gotta find one that's this one. See though, this one's too small because you need it so it can go through. That one is too fat. I think I'm gonna need the long one right here. So because I'm gonna put it like this. So I'm gonna tape it so it's even. But see how it's gonna flip over top. Now I can go back to it again. So see how it comes out on this side of the die? So it's not being cut, and it's so thin, right? It's not going to cut either side. It's just going to cut the tip off, the top edge. And that, if you put that in the, it'll be a little bit of a fun, uh, whatever the bannered edge, but it's got a little stitching too. So that's pretty. I like that. So you gotta make sure you get that on there nice and tight. The you have it so it's even the way you want, just like that. So it's in the middle, in the middle. You've got your tape to hold it down. I definitely need to, like, I would just whip this through my big machine. I'm trying to use my little machine. I was really good at it because I was using it a lot, but it's been a long time since I used it. And you can tell, I used to just instinctively know how to put the things together. Now I feel like I have to remind myself, like I said, I'm going to need to make a cheat sheet. Okay, so now I've got that on there. Staggering it. And I have it in the right. It's got to be, I think it's, yeah. It's almost like it's staggered, the three-way staggered. So you've got to get it started. It's got to catch all three of them. There we go. It's much easier that time. Yay. Okay. All right. And that is, cut that comes off. Oops. And you guys see that? It's got that cute little edge. Right? It's a cute little edge. Love, love, love. So I think it just adds a little bit. And you can use those dies more with any of them. So for like this one, I went through with the short, fat one. This one right here. And I did the same thing I did with this one, but I just used that. You just need to make sure that it's thinner than how wide this is so that you can die cut it out, which is nice. And you pull it up through the top, which makes it work fabulously. And then you actually have another piece that's nice. That's got a little bit that's like an arrow, right? The opposite in the stitched, which is kind of cool. So these are tiny, so it's a little bit harder to see, but it's pretty awesome. Okay, so let me put this away. So we are done die cutting. Awesome. I'm totally going to start using that, guys. Really do. It's a fabulous tool, but sometimes they're only as good as you using them. Okay, so now what did I do with my card? I'm pretty sure I put it away in here. Did I knock it to the ground? No. Let's see. Oh, here it is, right here. Underneath me. All right, muy bien. Okay, so I know I want to put this right here. I'm just going to glue it right there, but I'm going to put my owl on first. So what I'm going to do is, he cut out pretty good. I'm going to use a glue dot at his beak. So right now I'm just going to put right here, I'm going to put a little glue dot right there. If you can't get that a little bit. Because I'm actually going to glue the letter to the back of the bird, his head right here, so it's under his beak. I'm going to use that glue dot. and then I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop him up. And I pop him up pretty a lot. Let's see. I need. Oh man. Okay. I've pulled all the. It's got stuck. Okay. Let me cut those out. Okay. Add a bunch of these to the wings and to the body. And I'm going to put him pretty, I'm going to make sure he is really on here secure. I need a lot of dimensionals. So I really want him to be secure. And then I'm going to get this end edge here. And I'm going to, is this too thick? Nope, perfect. I've got it on his wing. So, Zoom is just weird today. All right, there we go. So I've got, so he's pretty well propped up. Take the stickers off, just like that. And then I'm going to take my little, now hopefully it's dried, Hogwarts letter. Look at that, and I'm just gonna where it's cut. That's the little edge on that side. It goes right there underneath. How awesome is that, right? Super sweet. Okay, so depending on how you cut your designer series paper, you can fit your owl how you like him. If you like him up in the high or down low, I have it so it's right here, like in the fence, like he's just flying over. So his wingspan, and then you don't see this little gap in the fence. That's how I have him, and he's kind of down here low. You can of course put him anywhere. He looks good in the trees because it's like a forced perspective. There we go, just like that. I've got him in there. Isn't that pretty? Oh, so gorgeous. Okay, and then I'm going to just use glue to glue this down. Like I said, I'm going to go all the way to the edge of the, what is that? The early espresso. Don't need a ton. Don't need a ton, but need some. And then, I've got it here in the sky. What I really like is using this little bit, and I understand now why they call it pop of color, to put that, because it really does bring out the color that's in the sunset behind him. And I know I was like, ooh, I got the Halloween stuff up on my Facebook page, like, ooh, you're going to start doing Halloween. And of course, I think of movies. And I was like, well, a certain wizard got his letter. Cute. Oh my gosh. And there you go. That's the front. Isn't that adorable? Super easy, super adorable. You can add, if you've got any of that puffy paint from last year left, you can put a little bit of puffy paint. And heat, quick heat emboss to get it on here. Use some Wink Stella. It was nice. I did need to put a thing of that I totally forgot in my excitement. I'm just going to pull a little glue dot and just tuck it underneath my letter, and so I can stick my letter to my card front, right? And glue dots give it a little bit of height, right? And so that's why I didn't use glue. And there it is. Isn't that cute? Like, I love how squishing that really kind of makes it, because it doesn't squish flat, right? It's got kind of like edges. I thought, ooh, should I try to like draw an H with my pen, or try to give it some monogram? I don't think you need to. I think it gives a little bit of texture. So instead of just using a stamp, or even a jewel, if you had like one of the red jewels, you could put there too. But I thought using these fun Pearlized Enamel Effects Basic. So if you've ever used, I think it's there. I've never used the dots of color, pops of color. If you guys have, and if you've used these too, I'd love to know if they are the same. I think they're the same. That would be something I'd love to find out. But okay, so now it's not done because we haven't finished the inside yet, right? So we wanted to use the happy birthday. So let's, I had my inside panel. It's over here. Just like that. Oh, and then we cut the designer series paper. So we've got, here's a piece goes along the back. And then this one is a little bit bigger. So I usually do it a little bit bigger so that it kind of hangs over. So this one is, like I said, I'll have the dimension, I'll have it written in my, on my website when I get this up. But what did I do with my, I had like, the, I seem to have lost my, it's like, I don't have like a lot of space. So it's not like it could have gotten far, my ruler. I think it's like 5 and, oh, it's right here. Duh. I just couldn't see it because it's black. I think it's 5 1/8. Let's see. Yeah, 5 1/8. So it's 5 1/8. No, 5 1/4. It's 5 1/4, and then this should be 1 inch. Yeah, so I've cut it at 1 inch and 5 1/4. So it hangs down because, oh, it's gotta be a quarter to 5. It's gotta be, yeah, it is 5 1/8 when I do the inside. So that would be. So you can either put it on the front edge. So it's really just your preference if you want it to go. So I did the other one on the other side. So this one I'll put on this side. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. But man, I love that designer series paper. And of course, you can use this on another piece, but it really just adds something wonderful when you add it to the inside of your card. I always love when they have stuff on the inside. And again, on the back of the card, I feel like it's naked if we don't put something. So I always do. I love it. And of course, you don't want to neglect your envelope also. Pretty. Oh, so nice. So lovely. Okay, and then we need our inside sentiment. I was going to put a happy birthday. I think there's a happy birthday in this. Okay, so I have, this one has, so it has a happy birthday. And then it has a regular happy birthday, a grateful magic, and it has, I didn't forget your birthday, I'm just stretching out the celebration, which is kind of cute. But I'm just going to put the happy birthday because it matches kind of the font that I use for the celebrating the magic. And then I need a happy birthday. And, yep, I think I did that right. Yep, that's happy birthday. And it is, I think I need a smaller, my smaller blocks. Love these blocks. I think this size, what is this? The G, I think I have the most G blocks. Because I keep one mounted with my Stampin' Up! Logo all the time. Okay, so let me see. And I haven't finished, I didn't put these together. Oh yeah, that stamp's nice. So I am going to stamp it though before I put it in my card. In case you mess up. Right, awesome, very pretty. And then of course I say that, and then I am gonna do the hold your breath and do it on the back because I think it's naked otherwise. Okay, so where's this away? I need to find my Stampin' Up! One and the other thing. Let's not forget these. And here it is right here. So I really love this. I mean, the B-sides are gorgeous too, but I think I like these. I do love our new one that's out, the All About Autumn. It's gorgeous. I think what I love the most about this designer series paper, the One Horse Open Sleigh, the most is because it's not exactly photorealistic. So it looks kind of, but it's kind of like this back texture. It just looks really nice with the designer series paper with the stamped images. I think that's one of the things. It has like this texture to it, so it's not exactly photorealistic. I can't even see. I keep messing up my. There we go. But pretty. Oh, I just love it. Yeah, I don't know why it seems like it's so far away today. I'm gonna have to play with that more. there's got to be, I can't tell. There we go. And then this is, of course, I almost did the happy birthday again. That's what I get for using almost the same thing. Let's put this one back so I don't lose it. And then here it is right here. This is the Stampin' Up! Logo that is actually from the same set, the Stamped with Love. So if you guys have gotten the Stamped with Love set, you also can use it to make the letter for our little owl. Perfect for somebody who's turning 11, right? Isn't that? It's 11, right? They get their Hogwarts letter. Oh, or anytime. Owl post is always nice, right? Love, love, love. Okay, so I actually like it when I had the owl, and then I want to stamp the owl. This stuff, the owl stamps so beautifully that, and I love that there's 3 different images, and if you notice, these 2 are facing different directions, which is really kind of cool. Like, I like that in case, because, you know, sometimes you want to put it in a certain way, the stamp, so it fits a certain way on your card, so being able to put it one way or the other is nice. Please move that out of the way. I don't want to get that. I'm just using that Early Espresso ink, and I like Early Espresso. So back in the day, when Stampin' Up! Had their own black, their black really, before you were using Memento, it would really stain. Anytime you used anything with our black, it wasn't StazOn, but I don't like StazOn. It's so sticky. Ugh. I mean, unless you're using it on plastic, making plastic goodie bags, then I really, or I think there's like a couple of techniques you have to use StazOn. I'm not a StazOn person, but our black ink would stain as well. So I got really good at using other colors like Night of Navy and Early Espresso instead of black ink. And then again, like I said, I used to, before we had blends, there was a time, you know, it's hard to believe, and I never got into using Copic markers. I used the watercolor pencils and the blender pen because it looks so beautiful, and I could get the shading and blending that I wanted using color pencils and this blender pen. So don't forget about that technique in the awesomeness of the blends. But isn't that pretty? So, and then you can do it on this too. You can do a little bit. I mean, even on colored cardstock, just blending it out just a tiny bit. You can add just a little bit of color, and then you clean them by just going like that. But you do need to, like our Stampin' Right markers, you need to keep it, you need to store them this way. Because if you do it this way, all of the stuff on the inside, I don't know what magic they use in the blender pen, but it goes to the bottom. So you need to keep them so it's one on both sides. Store them horizontally. But there we go. Isn't that pretty? Oh, so pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this in. We are done. I didn't see how long this was. Oh my goodness. So good to see you guys. I meant to be, so yesterday we were doing this challenge where we had to do certain things every day. I completely forgot what day it was. Yesterday I thought it was Thursday, and then I needed to come on live. Like, it's like I lost all sense of time. But I'm glad I got this on. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh. I like that. And it looks so pretty this way too when they open it, because you can see how it goes, continues the pattern. Although I'm not abandoning doing it on the bottom. I love that, especially with pattern paper. But when they have these strips of the 6x6 and they are a scene, I really like to carry the scene over, and then just put a little strip on the back. I just love it, and it's just so pretty, so pretty. I love it, love it, love it. So that is our card, and I showed you the 2 that has magic in it. I don't know if there's another set that we have that has the word magic in it, if you were going to do something that was like that. I know we have the stamp set. It's got the word magic in it, but the stamps don't. It's the Stars at Night has the celebrating the magic of the season, and I just got celebrating the magic. And then something fancy has grateful for the everyday magic of you. So those are the two that have the magic in the words. Of course, you could always use your the letter dies to write out magic too. But I just love this paper. Isn't that beautiful? I haven't even added Wink Stella. We're still out. I think I had shown you guys on another video before adding how to add just add a little bit to that. Some alcohol to a little bit of alcohol to your old Wink Stella. Especially if you look and it's dark on the end, you know there's some glitter in there and it's like evaporated already. You can pop this all off and add just a tiny bit. You don't add a lot, but add a little bit of alcohol to your Wink Stella, and then after you put it together, you gotta shake it really good. But be careful. Like I don't know if you notice, I always test them like this because I don't want it to go all blob out all over my project. If you have a problem where you're really concerned about that, I would then use it like it's a watercolor and actually add it to a block and then pick it up with a brush or make sure the end is dry and pick it up and add it that way, which I have done also in the past because you just don't want it to get all messy. But there you go. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, so thank you guys so much. We had a clearance rack refresh. If you haven't seen that, make sure you get on and get that. We had, I think there's still quite a few new papers. Oh my gosh, that Yeti is still in there. If you guys haven't gotten that Yeti and the dies, you totally should think about it. He's so totes adorbs. I might just have to do a bonus project because I love that Yeti so much. But these are the winter owls and that beautiful paper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today's card and get a little bit of that Harry Potter or Wizarding. That's pretty. So nice. I love that owl. It's so awesome. And again, if you not use the letter and then and you can add a Christmas sentiment or a hello sentiment. Actually, even saying hello because you get owl post would work because, owl post. And you can see here the differences. So you see how he is really cut really close? I actually fussy cutted. So, when you die cut, it gives you a little bit of a white. So depending on what kind of look that you're going for, it's much easier after you die cut it to fussy cut it out because you just have that little bit and you already have the outline. I sometimes will go back and retrim it, but it's much easier to trim after you die cut it out. But either way, they're gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So clearance rack, and if you're a demo or you're thinking about becoming a demo, we have an event coming up in November that you have until tomorrow to our onstage event. If you've ever wanted to do an onstage event at home and learn more about Stampin' Up, this is the best day to join because tomorrow is the last day to be able to go to our onstage event, and it's at home, so you wouldn't have to worry about getting a hotel or getting airplane tickets, or have to drive across country to an onstage event, which can be fun, but not on the spur of the moment. Usually it's not as fun, but you can do it at home, which I'm really happy that Stampin' Up! Does have a few of those at home there's a lot of people that can't travel or be in crowds, so they can still get some of that magic that you get from being at an event, or you get to see all the new products and stamp. It's awesome. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Happy crafting. Bye, guys.